Hey, what's up YouTubers? This is the Loyal One, and I'm doing commentary on Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. I came across this game a few weeks ago, and obviously it's just a remix of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but I was actually kind of fascinated at the sprites and the animation, just the way they redid the characters. Kind of reminiscent to how Street Fighter Alpha first looked when they debuted in the mid to late 90s. So I went on the PlayStation Network and decided to pick it up, and I've never recorded a full playthrough on any fighting game. Actually no, that's wrong. I did one on Mortal Kombat 2, but I've never done one on any of the Street Fighter games. So I just thought I'd record it, and I decided, okay, well, let me do some commentary, perhaps describe a little bit about the Street Fighter franchise, at least what it means to me, and how I got started in it. Maybe you guys will oblige me and learn a little bit about who I am, who the Loyal One is. If you've seen my channel, you see I got probably more fighting games than anything, because I'm just a huge fan of fighting games, and this is where it all began for me. It began with the Street Fighter 2 franchise. I still remember the first time I played it. I was actually in 5th grade. I think this is right around I don't know, late 80s, and I remember going in this nearby arcade, not an arcade, I'm sorry, it was a liquor store, and the one arcade they had was Street Fighter 2, and every single time I went, there were a bunch of kids, a bunch of my peers huddled around it. There were quarters lined up on the joystick pad, and there was always a line of people playing, and of course, there's a lot of button mashing, and then I read somewhere, probably on a Nintendo Power, or I don't know, some gaming magazine, that the way you execute the moves is you actually have to use the joystick in conjunction with the buttons, which I believe at the time was kind of unheard of. To imagine a kid, 5th grade, or 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old or whatever, having to know that you have to curve the joystick forward and then hit punch simultaneously to do Ryu's Fireball, or you have to hold back on the joystick 2 seconds and then forward and punch at the same time to do Guile's Sonic Boom, or hold down 2 seconds and then up and then kick to do Guile's Flash Kick. Things like that were pretty unheard of. So I decided to just study it, and I would watch other people play. I didn't have much money. Every now and again, if I had a quarter, I'd give it a shot, but for the most part, I would just watch people play, and that's really how I learned how to play back in the day. I would just watch people and then just try to mimic their moves. I eventually got pretty good at it, and I'm sorry, with that statement, I must say, I do not claim to be a Street Fighter professional or expert or anything like that. So anybody who's gonna comment on my video and say, "Oh, you suck, you're no pro," I've never claimed to be a professional. However, I will say this: I'm pretty darn good, and I will leave it at that. That's up to your, obviously that's everybody's opinion, everybody's judgment, but I'm pretty damn good. I don't think hundreds of thousands of comments can be wrong. So I spent more than 2 decades learning and mastering Street Fighter and most fighting games that began with Street Fighter, that later extended to your Marvel vs. Capcoms, your Capcoms versus SNKs, your X-Men versus Street Fighters, those types of games. I've just continued to play on and on and on, and just try to master everything that I possibly could. Ryu is an interesting character. I started off playing with him because obviously he's like the main protagonist of Street Fighter. He's the focal point. He's the man who the story is, you know, pretty much focused around. Obviously, every character in the game has their own story within, but you know, he's kind of like the main guy. And so I just started playing with him, and then I got to learn Ken, who's, you know, in a sense the same as Ryu, but just a little faster, a little more of a berserker kind of character, persona. If you've seen the Street Fighter 2 anime, you know what I'm talking about. And actually, how befitting, perfect timing. I got to learn even master Chun-Li as well. She's also very, very good character to learn how to use. I don't like that a lot of her moves you have to hold back 2 seconds or hold down 2 seconds, but you know, you get used to it like anything else in life. With any other character that you're mastering, you just learn how to do the moves. You know, you practice over and over again, and before you know it, you get pretty good at them. So this game and the franchise itself just means so much to me, because it sparked a lot of what it is that I do now with video games. If it wasn't for Street Fighter, there's no way I would have a YouTube channel, and there's no way I would have began to do any of these things. So Street Fighter definitely is where it's at. I remember Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is this game but remixed. I remember first playing it around 1995, 1996, and a good friend of mine would always borrow it, and he had it for the Panasonic Real 3DO. For those of you who aren't familiar with that system, it didn't do well in sales. I think it was one of those systems that was very, very short-lived, but it introduced me to this game, to the original version of this game, and that's the game where Akuma first appeared. And I believe I have a video of that game as well when I finished it on my YouTube channel. Actually, I didn't finish it, but I did record the ending. I fought Akuma, I lost, but I eventually beat it, but I didn't record that final match, and I recorded the ending with it. So yes, there was some editing there. But I just wanted to show people that I've played it, I've faced Akuma, and I was able to beat it. I just didn't record the match where it happened. So anyway, so I would always go to my friend's house, and that's pretty much how I really got to master this game. And then it was also at that same time when Street Fighter Alpha came out, and that just took me to a whole other level. I got so good at that game that I started going to the arcades, and I actually started playing people, and everybody knew who I was, and it was a fun time. I was about 16 years old, and it's kind of cool when you walk into an arcade and people kind of fear you in a way. That's the guy I was back then when I was really good at Street Fighter. But like I said, it all started with the Street Fighter 2 franchise. There's no way I would have gotten good at Mortal Kombat if it wasn't for Street Fighter, or X-Men, or Children of the Atom, or Marvel Superheroes. Any of those games I never would have gotten good at if it wasn't for Mr. Ryu and Ken and the Street Fighter 2 franchise. So that's just a little bit of a history as to how I was introduced to Street Fighter. You can see here, I'm now facing Balrog. It's the beginning of the final 4 guys, and you know, one of the things that I've definitely learned how to do, and the reason why I say I'm pretty darn good, is because I've mastered the timing of my characters. I know their limitations. I know when I can and can no longer block a special move or a super move. I know when to throw a slow fireball or a fast fireball. I know when to do a slow hurricane kick or a fast hurricane kick, just because I know the distance at which they all travel. And I also know the limitations of my opponent, so I know how high Vega can jump. I know at what angle can he hit me and what angle can't he hit me. Now, knowing these things doesn't mean that I'm going to get a perfect every time, obviously. It's not, I'm not saying it's not possible, because of course it's possible, but these are all things that you just kind of like you pick up over time, and then you fight your way, and you know, if you get hit, you get hit. If not, okay, great. So Vega's quite a character, very, very quick. Another character that I eventually mastered, and you can see, and if you check out my channel, one of my Capcom versus SNK2 videos where I've got Vega and I'm playing with Vega, you can see I got pretty damn good with him as well. So, but in this particular game, it's just timing. I'm just trying to beat him with fireballs because he's just so quick. He'll jump off the walls, hit me with that claw so quickly, and I'm just trying to, for the most part, stay away from his claw, stay away from that quickness, and you know, just do what I can. So, you know, that's pretty much how I fight most of my battles. It's really just timing, and you're gonna see the ultimate timing battle in a couple of more matches when I reach the end. That's when it's really about timing. So, but yeah, Vega's a beast. If you can master Vega, wow, I give people a lot of credit because he's one of those characters you have to hold down or down back or down forward and up, you know, after 2 seconds. Crazy. Sagat is a kind of a cheap character in my opinion in this game in particular, because Capcom did a very, very generous thing with him. If you can, I don't know if you could tell, but when he does his tiger uppercut and he's next to you, he's the only character that actually repels your he kind of like goes away from you a little bit more than Ryu or Ken's Dragon Punch. So he can actually come down off of a short tiger uppercut and block whatever it is you decide to dish out at him, whether it's a fireball or a roundhouse sweep. He can block it. The only character I believe in the game who can do that. Same thing with his tiger knee. If he's got you pinned up against the wall, he comes in so far deep into you that, but yet you would think, right, with a move like that you're able to just maybe sweep him when he comes down, but no, he's able to block, you know, when he comes down. I was able to time all these perfectly, but you know, in the fact that I was able to sweep him or throw a fireball after he does one of his special moves. But for the most part, I mean, he comes off almost unscathed for the most part. So as you can see here, it just becomes a fireball kind of match, and you know, I just try to stay away from him as much as possible, because if you jump into him, he'll do his tiger uppercut. So this next match is the match that I was referring to, and how timing is definitely everything. You cannot front Mr. Akuma. He is the ultimate character, hands down. I don't care who says what. There's no way I will agree with you if you say otherwise. He's so quick, uses the most uses the shortest of moves to beat you. I mean, as you can see, he tried to use his short sweep, you know, to try to take me out. He also teleports various places in the screen, and he's the only character, obviously, in this game who can teleport. But when Akuma teleports and you're against the wall, he can teleport behind you where there's no room. So you know, it kind of takes you out of the match for a split second because you don't know what direction you're facing. You just got to time everything perfectly, and that's exactly what I did. I know his limitations. I know his weaknesses. It's hard to jump in towards him because he throws air fireballs so that you don't. And I know that every time he comes off of a teleport, he's vulnerable for about 1/10 of a second. That's when I decide to sweep him. And I also know that when he throws those air fireballs, he usually follows it up with a regular fireball, which means I can jump in towards him and do a roundhouse kick, and then potentially a sweep for a 2-hit combo. So I was able to hit him with my super, which I timed that one perfectly as well. I'm gonna jump in toward him. There you go, 2-hit combo. I was able to catch him throwing a fireball, and unlike Ryu, he recovers quickly from throwing a fireball. So I said, timing is everything in Street Fighter. This is the ending for Ryu. You know, his ending is pretty typical in all of Street Fighters. You know, the fight is never like the fight is all there is. He still has yet to find that ultimate battle. It's somewhere out there. Geez, I would think when you fight Akuma, that's the ultimate battle right there, right? I mean, who else is there? Akuma is the evil demon himself. That's it right there. So, but you know, he's the ultimate protagonist in the Street Fighter franchise, and you know, I feel like there's a little Ryu in all of us, where the fight is everything, and there's always that spark, that hunger, that fire that just fiends for more. Anywho, I'm going off on a tangent there. Anyways, this is the end of this video. I will attempt to do more of these commentary videos per the suggestion of my good friend, Mr. JG Nonsense. You can check out his YouTube channel as well. He's also a gamer like myself. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel. All comments are welcome, even though I may get some negatives every now and again. It doesn't matter to me. I'm welcome to all comments, all criticisms as well. So thanks once again, YouTubers, and I will put up more videos when I get a chance. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed.